Hello friends and gamers, and welcome back to the Fortress. This is July 1940 and the American and the KMT turn. So I'm going to try to keep this turn brief, but not brief enough that I miss out on doing certain things. It dawned on me this realization that I'm missing out on tech. I should have been upgrading my factories and really starting to pump out some high-tech stuff, especially since the victory point for the Americans is in some tech. So a little bit behind the curve here, but that's one mistake I made. I'll fully admit that. Due to Japanese aggression, we have to also step up our military production, which you will see here in the economic table. Now, this one flaw I find in the game is the fact that since you have to roll for the tech first, it could completely mess up your strategy, both for planning things if you get stuff like long-range aircraft, as well as purchasing things if you get like advanced artillery or improved construction especially. So I've planned this out in the hopes I'm going to get improved construction. It's 9 submarines, finishing our heavy cruiser, finishing our light cruiser that we started the game with, and building 2 fighters. We're going to lend these $1 to China and lend these $2 to Free France. We're also saving $1 for the next turn. Alright, so let's roll, shall we? So the tech we're going to roll for is going to be, first we'll do improved construction, success. Then we do wartime economy, success. And these two, we both need a 9. 1 success there. So yeah, 3 out of 4 is not that bad. 3 out of 4 is not that bad with heavy bombers in the picture for sure. So we do have improved construction, so that bumps us up to 9. In the last stage, I completed a wartime improved construction. And wartime economy at stage 3, and what is the other one? Heavy bombers? Yeah, heavy bombers we've got to stage 2. So that is pretty good all around. So that means our purchases here are correct. We get a discount on each one of these submarines, and I've already calculated that into it. I've been kind of optimistic. Last turn I missed all my dice rolls, so today it made sense that I succeeded at 3 out of 4. So that's quite good. So that each of these submarines costs 5. So I have here to spend 30, 60, 70, 76 bucks. 76 bucks to spend. So 9 times 5 is 45. This is 3. This is another 4. And 20 over here. So yeah, that's our purchases. The KMT is not spending their money. They are not doing anything this turn. So combat moves. This turn we're going to do only one combat move. And it's going to be the KMT are going to go across this channel and invade Hainan Island, capturing it back for the mighty Chinese Empire. So that brings up the KMT income to 3, and what does it do to the Japanese? It brings them down to a measly 28. There's a strike against the government of the Japanese Empire. And now, because of the CCP aggression in China, because of their rampant corruption, their annexation of territory, and just their general mayhem they're causing on the mainland, the British Empire is forced, with much regret, to declare war on the CCP. At the same time, it stresses its peaceful intentions towards the USSR, and that has no bone to pick with the USSR, but primarily it's opening up its doors as a safe haven and refuge to the KMT nationalist forces that wish to retreat into Hong Kong. So that's what we do. There's a retreat going into Hong Kong. Now I have this task force marker here that represents the forces in Hong Kong. Garrisoned Hong Kong slightly in anticipation of this event, and so the KMT non-combat move into Hong Kong. With much regret, they leave Kwangtung to the mercies and ravages of the communist forces, but at the end of the day, they're forced, after much calculations by our statisticians, that we would have lost that battle if we would have held out. The CCP have just way too many forces. They have, I believe it's 19 infantry and loads and loads of militia that they would have been able to absorb all the hits and therefore just wipe us out completely. So we retreat into Hong Kong. Hopefully we'll find our peace there and the CCP doesn't pursue us beyond that point. That is the hope. Okay, for non-combat, let's start on this side of the globe, because the other side is going to be a little bit more complex. So we're going to move our fleet. Our entire fleet's going to move. Most of our fleet. These coastal submarines are going to go 1, 2 to Sea Zone 22. And then I'm going to move our entire force here. They're all going to come to Sea Zone 75. So let me pause it for a second. All right, so our entire force, USSA, Atlantic force is now in Sea Zone 75 off the coast of Panama. Now I know we can't go on to the Pacific side until a little bit later on, until we're at wartime income, but we are just sitting there parked in anticipation of being needed. American can rail 4 units. Now I don't know if aircraft count as that or not, but I'm railing 4 units across the Pacific side. These 2 aircraft are going to fly across going 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can go 4, and we're going to go on the other side. I was just debating if the Great Lakes count as, well, since it's a Sea Zone 150, I was debating if I could even go from Sea Zone, if I could use that as kind of a booster pad to get a little bit further. But I don't think I can. So they move 5, so let's zip ourselves over here. So where do they land? Well, let's start with what's railed there. So we rail 1 infantry to western United States. We're going to move 1 infantry from this position to southwestern United States, where another unit is railed there. I'm going to rail this medium bomber to San Francisco, and this tank is going to rail into San Francisco as well. Now these aircraft here that came off the carrier, they can't be railed because they didn't start in land zone. They're going to simply land here in the upper Midwest. This aircraft is going to fly down to San Francisco. And what do we do about these? Well, this entire force is simply coming north 1 step, and I made a mess of it. Let me pause that and organize it. All right, the Pacific Fleet has gone up to Sea Zone 29. Now, the next step of this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the next step of this is place unit phase. So this might be controversial. So I'll have to walk you guys through it so you don't be questioning it too much. And I appreciate all your comments too, by the way. And I'm discovering these things just as much as you guys are. So feel free to comment. So this factory in San Francisco is going to be building 2 fighters. 2 fighters are being built in San Francisco. Actually, yeah, 2 fighters are being built in San Francisco. Then I'm going to be building 1 heavy cruiser in the Pacific Northwest off of that shipyard. And this is the controversial part. I'm going to be building 10 units here in Sea Zone 64. You may be saying, well, Jenks, you only got 2 shipyards here. How could you build 10 units in this position? Well, it's you need to step back and look at the picture a little bit broader. The shipyards, well, sorry, you may wonder, I have only 2 medium factories here. Medium factory could only produce 3 units each. Yeah, but you need to get out of your head a little bit, because the limiting factor is not the factories, it's how many shipyards you have attached to your major factories. So on the East Coast, I have many, many major factories. I don't even know how many capacity I have. And they're all connected by rail to these 2 positions. So I could produce 10 units here this turn. In addition, I produced, let's say I produced 12 units on this spot, right? Because I produced 2 units here, 10 over here, out of this coast. And it's deceptive because you think I only have a capacity of 6. Well, I have a capacity of the maximum of the shipyards, and then for the land units, I have 3. So that is entirely perfectly legal. I have 9 submarines here now, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a destroyer up here. I have a cruiser was just built there. Okay, I believe, one more non-combat move I kind of forgot about. This fleet here is going to go 1, 2, 3 to this position. So if you don't know where that is, that's Sea Zone 66 off of Wake Island. That's where that is. Let's go back to the economic table. Before I collect income, I should roll for my income increase. 3. Okay, so I got 3 income increase. And now I remember I had $1 left over. I'm going to bump us up so we're at 45 up on the chart. So 45 plus 1. And now this buck here is going to go across to the KMT, so I'm going to give them $1. And they also have $3 worth of territory. So that gets placed here. So they have 5, 6, 7, 8. They have $8 here. And I'm going to take these $2 and give it to the Free French. And $2 for the French. So France's income was $3, but rounding it up, you could half their income, but round it up. So it's they currently have $5 to spend. So that is it for the American turn. Not too substantial, not too crazy, but also something significant, some major moves compared to other times. That is it, people. Thank you all for watching. Now, Panzer King's video is next, and it'll be a 10. So we're starting a new year with January 1941. So check out his video next, which will be 10.1, and check out my next video, which will be the Allied Strategic video for the turn that's just passed, number 9. Thank you all for watching. Cheers.